So thank you to whoever told me yesterday that you were having trouble with this sound. This was something that came up over a year ago when I was making videos. And of course, in the intervening months, I forgot that, in fact, I needed to try to do this with a microphone. If there are any quality issues, let me know. There's not a lot that I can do. I don't have a light. I don't have a studio. And part of my point is to be as casual as I can be doing these so I don't get caught up in my own perfectionism. It is a lifelong struggle. But one of the reasons that I don't get tarted up and I don't get dressed up and I don't go into another room is to make this as ordinary a part of my life as it possibly can be. I am flexing a particular kind of artistic muscle by doing this, by making the art in my life ordinary, absolutely ordinary. Okay, only one person answered my question yesterday, so they are going to get the very, very beautiful pale green rock in its lovely little bag. I put it in a little bag. I will put a note in the comments so you know who you are. I do have my settings to suitable for kids because what I discovered last year was that if I don't say that these are for kids, then I get trolled pretty hard. And as I've said before, I curate my space pretty carefully, and I do not need a general in the army telling me how good looking I am. I know just how good looking I am, sir. Thank you very much. So that means that you can't put comments in the YouTube section. But I am posting all of these over to the Facebook platform. So you can, if you answer a question, you can answer there and I will go there to look for answers. So thank you for pointing me in the right direction. The other piece of business to take care of, somebody mentioned that I could make a playlist. So when we are done with what I was bringing to Vegas about unputdownability, I will make some kind of amalgamated thingy bob. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it'll be awesome, maybe. All right, so what are we talking about today? About unputdownability. I feel like we still need to remove some of the blocks that we have to really embrace what we're doing and how important what we are doing is. You are world builders. You are building places that people can inhabit, literally go into and inhabit. It's the closest we've got so far. Who knows? Some of you in your lifetime might see some fairly radical things happening with the brain and downloading. But at the moment, the closest we can get to being inside somebody else's experience is to live it through a book. And it's closer in a book than it is in a movie or a TV series, although I was one of those kids who nodded along with everything and entered into the movies that I saw. Possibly because I'm aphantasic and don't see pictures, so the pictures for me were quite compelling. But for the most part, the closest that you will get to understanding another human being is to read a story about them. Not to read a report. Reading a report, the left side, the factual stuff, slides through the brain and we don't retain it the way that we retain story. Story goes into the right side of the brain, and if we attach it, as we discussed earlier, if we attach it to emotion, then it goes into long-term storage. All of things that we're going to be talking more about. But what do I hear you saying that I want you to stop saying? I hear people saying that this is, quote, just entertainment. Or, sorry, the groaning that you can hear is sassafras, and that is going to go on for hours, and there's just not anything I can do about it. She's been fed, she's been out, she's had water, she's had cuddles, she's had sleep, and it's not enough. So you're just going to hear a dog moaning in the background. I apologize. Yes, so I hear it is just entertainment, or it is just escapism. And there is a kind of shame attached to that, not joy. And so there is an insidious way in which we talk about our work with an apology baked into it that it's just escapism. There are some people who talk about it with some pride that, I provide a place for my readers to escape to. And that's getting on the right track. But let's unpack why I want you to stop saying this as a form of an apology. I write for an American audience, even though I'm a Briton. I have lived over here for a very long time, and my core readership is American. And this country was built on a Protestant foundation. Your forefathers, way, way, way back when, actually left my country because we were having too much fun. Can you even imagine what they must have been like, the Puritans, that they left England because we danced too much? I mean, I love my country, but looks, that's not really what you think of when you think about English people, is it? So there is a Protestant base. And there is still a Protestant work ethic that underlines the spirit of this country. And that's reflected in things like the vacation that you don't get in America, and how work is prioritized over play, even though the studies tell us how important play is and how you can get so much more done if you can get into a playful state rather than a grind state. There is a kind of moral judgment about escapism that I would say is historical and cultural, and is embedded in how we think about what we are doing. This idea that escapism is bad tells us that we are lazy, we're not productive, we're not viable members of society, and I want to offer you a different track. Rather than saying that we are escaping from the world, which is this kind of like childish idea of I need to run away from my life. In fact, no, we are escaping to understanding. We are escaping to a place where we can understand other human beings. We can get into their experience, and we can learn how to empathize. If you're building something using, I know I get caught up in the debate. All right, we're just going to say that we're going to use the hero's journey for now. And I know that there is a debate about it, and I know that people believe that there is, some people believe that there is a sexist underpinning to it, but I'm going to put that aside for now, because the modern novel, like it or not, is predominantly built around the hero's journey. And the hero is reluctant, has a call to action, and has, in Campbell's phraseology, a fatal flaw, which Lisa Cron rewrote as a misbelief, a core misbelief. Now, my core misbelief is that I'm a talentless hack and I'm going to get found out. And no amount of producing stuff that does well interferes with that. I have to actively work on undoing that, because it is one of the primary tracks that has been laid down in my brain, is that my work is not good enough and it will never be good enough. And it's one of the reasons that I fight so hard against this idea of high and low art, or art versus entertainment. I just think that's a load of poppycock, I really do. I believe that what the novel is doing is teaching us how to understand other human beings, how to empathize, because we watch this character go through a series of trials and solve something. They solve something that was holding them back, and it's only by solving it that they can solve the plot problem. So I believe that that is crucial to the human experience, and a bunch of people think that too. I'm going to recommend a couple of books to you. I think I've already recommended this one, but it's terrific, and I really think you should give it a go. What else? Yeah, I had a whole bunch of other stuff. I said that I was going to try and get a good night's sleep and come back with more brain and more energy, but it turns out I had a very bad night, because Sass had a very bad night, and I have less brain and less energy. But I want you to work hard at shedding any shame that you have around just being an escape artist, just being an entertainer. Quite the opposite. One of the most important jobs on the planet more important now probably than it has been for many, many decades, is to teach people how to understand each other, how to empathize with each other, how to read into somebody else's life experience. And I can hear you. I can hear you saying, well, why would I want to look into the mind of a Hannibal Lecter? And you might not, and that is absolutely your prerogative. But I personally want to understand evil. One of the big questions in my life is whether or not evil is intrinsic, or if it's something that's learned. I very often go to nature nurture questions. I find them very interesting. So I would say, turn that phrasing around and find a way to describe yourself in heroic terms. I want you to tell me, in order to win this very, very pretty, I'm sorry, I'll do something in the daytime tomorrow so you can actually see the real colors, this very, very pretty purple rock. In the comment section on the Facebook platform, I want you to tell me how you're going to rework how you describe yourself as a word crafter, an ink slinger, a creator of worlds. What are you going to call yourself? What is your tagline as a writer that has no apology and no shame? All right, back with Unputdownability tomorrow, when I will maybe have more brain. We can hope, right?